What is up, guys and gals? It's me, Thomas Fan01 here, and today we are back at it again with another amazing Transformer figure review. And the reason I say it is amazing is because, well, it is. So today we are going to be taking a look at the Transformers Age of the Primes Leader Class Onyx Prime, and he big boy. You know the rules. We don't take a look at this dude first. We take a look at that. So let's start with the packaging, and the packaging is quite entertaining, and we see a little toast hairs on said box. Don't worry about that. Anyways, here we have all of this in its beautiful, glorious packaging. We have Onyx Prime in his Centaur mode, we have him in his Robot mode, and oh wait, no, we'll go on the other side here, and we have him here in, I actually don't know what mode this is. Can someone please tell me which mode this is? Like, seriously, it gives me no direction on the back here as to tell you what this is. We know this is Centaur mode because these are hooves and, well, subsequently so are the back of his other feet, I suppose, in a way. But this don't feel right. This don't feel right here. I don't know what this is. I like to say it's a dragon mode, but I've never seen a dragon with 6 legs before. So, anyways, on this side of the packaging, we have the primes, and we have 2 new ones that are coming out probably at the end of this year and or beginning of next year, and that being Amalgamus Prime and Quintus Prime. So, that's pretty much it for the box, and we're going to remove said box, and we are going to bring in Onyx Prime. And I gotta say, Hasbro, you cooked. You cooked with this, and I'm seriously, I'm drooling over this guy. He is a beautiful figure. I can't complain one bit about this guy in, well, at least in his beast mode. At least this beast mode. Now, I gotta say this beast mode because, like I said, there's, we have the Centaur mode that we gotta get to in a minute here. But I gotta say this is nice. They did give us a ball-jointed head for the dragon. The wings are on some swivel joints. However, this one has some issues. Take note, I'm gonna have to take a hairdryer and straighten this out a bit here. But basically, the wings are supposed to fold all the way back as well, so that way that can work out like so. And they also do display out like so in this mode as well. And that's problem number 1 that we've run into. I'm still not upset with it because, take note, it's mainly just a bit of the plastic is where you just need to find where to bend the plastic back into place. So it's not that big of a problem with that. But there we have all of that. So that being said, let's get into the weapons of this guy. And he does come with a couple of them, but the one we're going to be taking a look at is the one that is tabbed onto his booty right here. Give me just a second. We're going to bring the wings all the way down here so that way we can detach the weapon. And it does store right here, and of course you can also store it on these ports here on the wings. So do not forget about that. That's there too. So anyways, let's scooch that off to the side. And this is the staff of Quintus Prime, and that's what you do. That's what you do with it. That's what you do. I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. But anyways, so that's what this is for. And like I said, you can totally store it back in beast mode, which there's that tab slot right there. And this is where that just plugs into there. So, but we're going to remove said weapon because this is not just the one weapon that he comes with. He comes with another one, but we're going to have to get into that more so when we get into robot mode. So, anyways, let's get him into scale comparisons because, we love those. Here he is next to Solus Prime, Deluxe Class Solus Prime. Here he is next to Legacy United, Voyager Vector Prime. Here he is next to Prima Prime. I'm so stoked that we have more primes to add to the collection. Here he is next to our previous Age of the Primes review, at least for the Primes bit. He's next to Age of the Primes Alchemist. Yeah, let's scooch him over here a bit. And finally, of course, here he is next to Studio Series 86 Commander Class Optimus Prime. Alright, so now that we've done that, we're going to get him into his Centaur mode first, and then we're going to get him into his robot mode and do the final scale comparisons in that form. The reason I'd say that is because the Centaur form is extremely short and small, but it definitely does work out as a mode. So, in order to do that, let's get this guy into said Centaur mode. Now, to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to basically pop this head all the way back, like so. The horns of the dragon head, at least I'm going to call this a dragon just because I feel like it needs to be called that. The dragon horns have to go over this bit of lip right there, and then it just kind of snaps into, or not snaps, it just tabs into place, I guess. It just like friction bits. So it works, it's just a little wonky. Next thing you're going to do is we're going to bring these shoulder bits and we're going to splay them out just one click. They are on some hinge joints on the inside here. And we're going to take this piece and we're going to bring it all the way down, and it's going to tab into the chest, and then we're going to flip out the head. And then we're going to take all of this and we are just going to rock this middle section piece with the skirt here. We're going to rock it all the way back, and then we're going to just pretty much straighten it all back out and just kind of do this. You're going to want to kind of straighten out the horse legs and the other legs in the back as well. But take note, it does have its problems, and we're going to get into that here in just a moment. And the reason for those problems, I don't like the fact that it stays short, and you have to like bend the legs in specific orientation for it. So I don't like that piece about it at all. But we're almost on the home stretch, and you're just going to rotate these all down. Do the same thing on this. Make sure this shoulder pad thoops into place. Do the same thing on the other side. Thoop this into place. Straighten this out. Straighten out the hands. Kind of close them up a little bit. However, what you're going to do with this is you're going to come to this section here. Going to bring this and untab this tail here. I know I don't like doing it either, but hey, it's necessary. And then you're going to come to this and you're going to just split it, if I can get it to split. Come on. There we go. It does split. I'm going to split it down the middle. And there's going to be a tab right here. And you're going to place it into this hand right here. And then you're going to have this here. And let's straighten out this arm as well. Rotate that. Have this coming back here. And then, remember the spear we had earlier? Going to rotate or just unpeg it and have it in this orientation to where the tab pieces on the staff are pointing outward. And you're going to have this piece right here, and then we're going to have this going here, and there we go. And that's going to be how we have him in Centaur mode, and I think this looks beautifully cool. And I gotta say, Hasbro, why were you sleeping on these? Also, at the same time, you cooked. You cooked very well. I can't complain about this mode a lot. The one thing I do complain about is the fact that it is shorter. That's it. So, now that we've gotten him into Centaur mode, we're going to get him into his actual robot mode. And we're going to remove this, and we're going to fold... we don't need to, we can, but I like to fold this back up, and I like to put his tail back into his booty. So real quickly, we'll just do that real fast, and there we go. And now we will get him into his robot mode and get him out of a dabbing position. So I'm going to straighten these arms back out like so. We do that, and we're going to get him into robot mode. I apologize. You got to get him all straightened out, but real quickly, there is one thing you can do with him. He does have a battle mask, which I do think is cool, but his battle mask is extremely, extremely stiff. So if you can, there we go. There's the battle mask right there. So I don't like using the battle mask because the battle mask is extremely difficult to get back up. Come on. Ugh. Okay, give me just a second. Finally, okay. Whew. Okay, so this is extremely tough to get back up. You can clearly see how raw my fingers are from this. So I'm not going to suggest you flip that battle mask down unless you absolutely have to. So anyways, let's get him into his robot mode. And to do so, you're basically just going to take all of this and straighten it out like so. And then you're going to bring these legs down, and I like to straighten them out as best as I can. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I do like to straighten them out because it definitely helps with the height issue. Now that we've taken care of said height issue, we are going to take the wings, we are going to fold them all the way back for now, so that way we can get these front legs into a different position. So we're going to bring these arms all the way out, like so. Then you're going to take the horse legs, and you're just going to basically bring them all the way around, and then bring the arms forward just enough so that the horse legs can fold all the way back here. Do the same thing on the other side. Fold this forward just a smidge, and then rotate all of this like so back here, and straighten out said shoulders again. Make sure all of this stays onto his body. And then you're going to fold these all the way down and fold the hooves all the way in as well. So then you do that. We'll bring the wings all the way. We'll bring the wings back to where they were. And then we shall bring in. Actually, fold this down too. You don't have to, but this is where you would untab this, and I put it back in. You do need to remove it, but you don't have to if you don't want to. I personally don't want to, but just for the sake of the video, I will. So, and then I'm going to once again undo this, make sure it turns into the bow and arrow that we want it to be. So, just a second. It doesn't really help if you don't have fingernails to split this open. So, but that's what this tells you to do, and I don't really think it matters what hand this is in, and I also like to think this is also a sword, so we can do it like that. And then I'm going to have him holding his staff this time, holding it this way. So does that, and he does close into that as well. So we have, there we are, and there we are done. And now we have, if I can keep him standing straight, there we have Onyx Prime in his robot mode, and I could die happy now. I finally have an Onyx Prime. Oh, I'm so happy. And the reason why I liked Onyx Prime the most is because, well, let's put it to you this way. This guy is technically like the airbenders of all of the primes. What do I mean by that? Well, he basically can astral project his spark and basically follow dead souls to the well of all sparks. And he can also astral project himself to other planets. So for all we know, he could have literally visited Earth millions upon millions of years before this guy and everybody else's terrible fight. So seriously, he could have gone and visited so many different planets all before anybody else got to him. So I'm going to be real with you, that's why I like this guy the most. He was also their spiritual leader on Cybertron as well. He basically was the one who would tell people, he would basically, tell people what they needed to do and how they needed to do and what needed to happen. So, at least in a religious sense of form with the Transformers. So, now that we have him in his robot mode, let's take a quick look at said robot mode. And I gotta say, what a beautiful figure. However, I do know this is going to be a big issue in the future here. I have a feeling this is not gonna survive very well with gold plastic syndrome. Okay, for those of you who don't know what gold plastic syndrome is, seriously, you can look this up on the TF Wiki, but I'll give you the summary. Basically, any type of plastic that is like supposed to be gold or anything of the nature like that, it tends to be more brittle over time. So basically, if this ages past 20 years, I'll be happy. But if it doesn't, I won't be surprised. So anyways, let's get him into scale comparisons. We shall get our final thoughts on this guy, and then we shall rank the figure. So here he is next to... Oh, by the way, there is one Prime I totally forgot to throw in there. Here he is next to Megatronus Prime, so we'll start it off with him first. I totally forgot. He was literally sitting right on the other side. Just totally bypassed him. Here he is next to Solus Prime. Here he is next to Vecta Prime from Legacy United. Here he is next to Prima. And as you can clearly see, big guy. Here he is next to Alchemist. And finally, here he is next to Studio Series 86 Prime. So, and while we're at it, why don't we get ourselves a nice little family photo here? Let's do that. Let's get Onyx Prime going on here. Let's get Megatronus going on there. We'll get Vector over here. Let's get Prima somewhere in here. Let's get him over here. We got Alchemist, Solus, and oh, what the hey, I'll bring him in as well, and Optimus. So there we have a very, very, very nice looking collection of primes there. I don't know if he really counts. I really don't know if Optimus Prime counts, specifically because he's a descendant of all of these guys. So you never know. But anyways, let's get into the final thoughts on this guy. And as I said before, the guy was technically a spiritual leader, and he was pretty much the airbender of all of the primes to the point where he basically can follow dead souls. He can go into spirit realms. He can go to different worlds. He can go to different dimensions, at least within his own spirit dimensions and stuff like that. So I gotta say, I quite dig this and the lore behind it. I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of that mask. That mask literally just about tore my fingers apart. Not to mention, I'm not a big fan of the fact that these wings are super, seriously, like that's what my problem is with the wings. I don't hate the fact that the wings do expand, because that is a nice little touch-up that they did not have to give us, but they chose to anyway. So, like I said, I cannot complain about that. The wingspan looks very, very, very nice. I do like the fact that they incorporated not just one weapon, but two within his weapon storage, not just weapon storage, but within his weapons. So I can't complain too much about that. I like the fact that he's also a triple changer, and he's a beast triple changer. So I cannot complain about that in the slightest. So anyways, let's get into the ranking, to which I think we're going to have to do a few nitpicky things in order to get where the score is going to be. I'm automatically giving him a -1 point for that. Just for the mask. That mask is horrifying. Not as in it's horrifying to look at, or it's not like badass to, have him in battle mode, but I cannot, for the life of me, bring me to want to shove this thing back down on his head, because I just don't feel like my fingers could take it. And like I said, automatic demerit for that point right there, or for that piece right there. And I have to give another, I'm going to give a half a point to these wings because I feel like these wings could have been engineered a bit differently, but I'm not going to complain to what they gave us. So that part I will not complain about in the slightest, at least with some of it. I'm still going to knock it half a point, but it's not a huge half a point. And with that being said, that brings us to the final score for this guy at 8.5, to which I think that is a very, very reasonable score for this guy, specifically with those faults that he does have. And honestly, they're not even faults, they're more like my personal nitpicks. So this guy honestly is 100% worth picking up, to which I 100% guarantee you guys you will want to buy this guy and you will want to have him in your collection. So that being said, I don't know exactly where you'll be able to pick this guy up. I bought mine from Walmart, so if you guys are able to find one at Walmart, then go ahead and go pick it up. If you guys find it at Target, once again, go ahead, pick it up. If you pick it up at your local toy stores, wherever you're at, once again, great. You can always check Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, and Hasbro Pulse, but we all know Hasbro Pulse is Hasbro Pulse. So, anyways, this is Thomas Phantom 1 saying, do not forget to check out Jordy's Rail videos, Patrick's Voice Rail, Riveted Reviews, Riveted Rail Fan, Alexander Rothschild, iStar552, Bravely GG, Take Along Productions, Lemon Lime Studios, Zaga the Animator, Kitten Cat 999, and oh, what the heck, we'll give him something else. His name is Lil Erm. You definitely need to go check him out as well. So, anyways, this is Thomas Phantom 1 saying, do not forget to keep playing with your toys. But also, don't forget to subscribe and like. So, don't forget it. Anyways, also, don't forget to keep playing with your toys. Goodbye.